UFC Fight Pass Invitational 6 breakdown. First of all, shout out to Geku. This is Geku, this is not Kuji. Everyone thinks this is a Kuji sweater. Obviously I can't afford a Kuji sweater, but this is a Geku sweater made in the same factories by the same children that make the Kujis. Truly an authentic Kuji sweater as far as I'm concerned. Guys, we're gonna do a Fight Pass Invitational 6 breakdown here. And this card's fucking hilarious because every single person on the card, or at least one of the people in each of the matches, is a black belt world champion in some capacity. And I have not won anything. And even the UFC Fight Pass, the UFC was struggling to find things to put against my name on the UFC broadcast. So they called me an IBJJF world champion, and they called Levado I think a 5-stripe, like on his black belt or something, which is funny because he is a black belt world champion and I have no titles to my name at all. But let's start with the first breakdown. Ronaldo Jr. versus Cody Steele, but they put his name down here as Cody Steels, which is whoever does the Fight Pass post is fucking, I hope they're trolling us with this shit. Ronaldo Jr. black belt world champion, trains out of Atos, mostly in the gi. Obviously he's going over to no gi here because he probably needs the money and realizes there's no money at all in the gi. I faced off against him years ago, was able to heel hook him pretty quick. It was the same night that Gordon slapped Galvao, which sort of trumped my victory, unfortunately. But nonetheless, he's come back to no-gi. I don't know if he's competed no-gi lately, but Cody will be a tough match for him. Cody's pretty consistently performs well in these no-gi events. Tough guy to submit. He probably has a pretty strong wrestling advantage in this match. And in my opinion, it'll be decided by how good Ronaldo's guard is. Cody's obviously MMA focused now, but his wrestling's still very strong. Now we go to another match on the card. Mason Valor versus Pedro Mourinho, which is fucking, again, this match is hilarious to me because both these guys have beaten me. Both these guys are well low on the undercard for this match somehow. I don't know. So again, your accomplishments mean nothing. It's just the quality of your gay jokes that's really gonna bolster your status in this sport. And again, to give credence to how little UFC Fight Pass give a fuck about Flow Grappling or who's number one, Pedro is their champion in Flow Grappling. He's beaten, he beat Levado on this card. I think he's beaten other people on this card, myself included, yet he's still pretty low down on this. So I think what that says is a Fight Pass undercard maybe pays more than a Flow Grappling main event. But he's got Mason here. Mason's tough. I'd probably give the wrestling advantage to Pedro here. That's probably going to be a big factor in this match. But Mason and Pedro are probably equally talented in the strategy department. They both can play a strategy for a very long time to force a victory. Pedro's had more, I would say more accomplishments lately, just given his WNO title run. Mason had an unfortunate ADCC run, both times unfortunate ADCC runs, but he has been doing well in other competitions. He beat Hyson. He was scheduled to face Gordon. Gordon obviously out with menstrual cramps. So I really don't know who to pick in this match. I think whoever ends up on top is probably going to win this one. Mason was training with the Rotolos. Ty submitted Pedro at ADCC, so he probably feels Ty has some sort of secret to beating Pedro here, or he at least wants to feel his skill level compared to Ty to see where he stacks up to give him more confidence potentially against Pedro Mourinho here. That one's a pick'em. I can't decide what's going to happen in that match. Let's go to another one. We'll go to Nicholas Maragal versus Mateus Denise. Mateus Denise, ADCC world champion. Nicholas Maragal is probably the black belt goat in the gi right now, and he's taken out Kainan and Felipe Pena. Recently submitted both of those guys, so he's on an impressive run right now. Denise is a tough match stylistically for Maragal because, I mean, every time Maragal faces off against someone, I think the other guy's got the wrestling advantage, but somehow Maragal eventually gasses him out and takes him down. He's going to have a pretty significant size advantage here. Denise isn't that big. He's not that big. He competes at 88. Maragal cuts weight to make under 99, so it's going to be quite a big size disadvantage to Denise here, and I think that'll probably play a big factor. Maragal will be able to fatigue him over time. Maragal has been super active lately too. Denise not so active. So Denise is coming basically out of some, I wouldn't say retirement, he's just not an active competitor right now, but he's coming out of a period of time off to face off against a highly active competitor. So I'm probably going to give this to Maragal given the size advantage and the run he's on lately. Now we got Victor Hugo versus Roosevelt Souza. So some of these, you see some of these matchups, guys have faced off against each other. I know Roosevelt because Roosevelt knee barred Mason, I think at IBJJF Nogi Brown Belt Worlds, and that stands out to me because Mason beat me, and it was honestly quite satisfying to watch him get leg locked by Roosevelt Souza because sadly I couldn't do it. But I think this match is a tough one for Roosevelt to win. Victor Hugo, he's going to have a big size advantage here. He's coming in confident. Obviously Roosevelt's got good leg locks. He's got good other attacks too, but obviously the leg lock Mason, pretty big feat. And then Victor Hugo recently beat Big Dan and Nikki Rod. And really, if Big Dan can't get to your heels, if your defense is that strong, I don't think many people are going to have access to your legs. So I think I give Victor Hugo a pretty big edge in this match. Again, another black belt, potentially, I think black belt world champ, Victor Hugo. Roosevelt Souza, I think brown belt world champ at the very least. Probably a black belt world title too. Somehow, though, again, I'm ranked above them on this card, which brings me great joy. Nikki Rod versus Roberto Jimenez. This is awesome because Nikki Rod's the co-main, so he has to live in my shadow every day and see that I'm above him on this poster, which is really the only reason I do any of these events anymore, is to piss people off with my presence and to keep my BJJ Fanatics sales higher than other much more accomplished grapplers. So Nikki Rod versus Roberto, I think they're 1-1. Roberto got a decision victory against Nikki Rod. It's a strange matchup. It's probably a 40-pound difference, I would say. Roberto Jimenez, super talented. One of the most dangerous guys out there, but you got to give Nikki Rod the advantage. I think of Nikki Rod should be able to take him down and submit him. He should be able to do that. Roberto's an animal. Roberto's a crazy dude. He truly is insane. I remember warming up with him for one of the Submission Undergrounds, and he was in the bathroom taking a shit, singing at the top of his lungs. And I've seen him do some weird shit at some flow grappling events. So he's out there, but fuck, obviously it's working for him. Again, I got to go with my teammate Nikki Rod here. He should be able to take him down, submit him. And then me against Levado. So sometimes I wait a grappler out for him to turn 18 to take that match. Levado, we waited out until he turned 40. So hopefully age has broken him down here. Obviously it's not going to play as big a factor as the smaller guys. I think the smaller in weight category you are, the quicker age takes its toll on you. So Levado's big, jacked. I saw him, we did a face-off the other day. He's a real 6'2". Nikki Rod's lies about being 6'2". Actually, the cameraman, Freddie there, is a complete fraud in his height. He says he's 6'2". We actually got out the tape measure and he's 6 foot barely. So Levado's every bit 6'2". He's got the height advantage on me. Probably have a small weight advantage on me too. In terms of whether my strengths lie in this match, I have to say I have a leg lock advantage. Obviously, I'm not going to go into too much detail, give away the game plan here, but you've got a traditional grappler, and my strengths and victories have mostly come from leg locks. So you'd have to say that's where the advantage lies for me. Levado, former Bellator champ, has done quite a bit of wrestling, probably has a wrestling advantage here. Levado recently beat El Monstro. That was a big victory. El Monstro is a really good wrestler, and he didn't take Levado down too easily at all. Levado was ultimately able to sweep him out of close guard, I think with like a lumberjack sweep, and took his back and choked him. So this is going to be a tough one. I imagine we're going to get a finish in this one though, because only two things happen in my matches. Either I get the finish or I get so tired trying to finish the guy that he finishes me. So if we're going past 7 minutes in this one, you guys should be worried for me, and I should have really renegotiated the contract to keep it a 10-minute match. But again, we got 15 minutes here, 10 minutes. To be honest, I don't even know. I didn't even read the contract when they sent it to me. I just fucking signed it, sent it back. I think it's a 10-minute match with 5-minute points. 10-minute no points, 5-minute points. And I imagine they're going to be hitting those stalling penalties pretty hot and heavy like the last event. But yeah, obviously, I think I'm going to win, or I wouldn't have taken the match at that price. But I know if I'm going to lose, I'll take the match. I'm just going to fucking charge a lot more money. But that's it. Fight Pass Invitational 6, Las Vegas, March 3rd. Join me for the after party, because that's where the real battle begins. That's the real life and death battle that we don't know if we're going to survive.